Welcome to your life. There's no turning back. Even while we sleep. Yeah. I'm on live, but it doesn't matter. No, you can tell me. I just wanted to know. Oh, I know. Yeah. Yeah. Even while we sleep, we will find you resting on your extinction. Turn your back on motivation. Is somebody here? Hello, everybody. How are you? This account is not my real account anymore. If you would like to see my real account, you need to go to my new account, art_lust. Can I get it? Hello, I'm here reminding people that I'm no longer here. How meta is that? I feel like I tried to do it where I was on this one and my new one, and that was chaos this morning, so I'm just going to do this. Holding hands while the walls come tumbling down. I'll be right behind. Should I do like a sing-along? I'm not monetized, so I can play any music I want. No copyright. Go crazy. It was really tough. I don't think that was the way to do it. They struck me. First strike, one strike and out. They demonetized this one. I'm gone from here. Oh, really? Yeah, I guess it happened to somebody else. It happened to somebody else. I don't know who Java Doodles is. I'll have to look him up. But yeah. I'm not sure what you mean. I don't know what you're talking about, Benjamin. But so I'm demonetized here, and I'm not monetized on the other one yet, but I'm trying to send people over there. I know, that's what's so weird to me. I was like, really? I talk about art and culture. What do I need for monetization? You need to have 3 million views. I was getting like 3 million a day. I don't know, I was getting a lot. I don't remember. I'm gonna have to look. I can't remember which one it is. I made a lot of men angry when I first started this account, and so I got a lot of views very quickly. So I don't remember though. I think it'll take a lot more the second time. Thank you, Bahar. Niramwala, that's a great name. I got demonetized here. And in fact, I am only here to tell you I'm no longer posting videos on this channel. Please subscribe to art_lust. In fact, that's why I'm doing lives. Yes, I'm making a new account. I'm no longer making videos here. I got demonetized. And I'm going to be on live lots, sending people to the correct channel. It's art_lust. Oh. I mean, I was talking about fascism. The video got dinged, so. But I'm still going to talk about fascism. No. I'm going to leave this place for dead. I mean, right now I'm going to be in between. But then I'm never going to think about it again. I don't have like the kind of brain space to have multiple accounts. I know. I do kind of feel like that. I was a little bit surprised. Yep. So come to my new account. Oh, that's awesome. We did one for Where in Oregon are you? Ah, I like Salem, Oregon. I've been there. Oh, I'll look it up. Oh, thank you. I don't know. Well, I'm not here anymore. The work I do is now at art_lust. I got demonetized here, and everything is moving over there. Except for followers. But they will be. They will be. Hello, Kikomo. I am moving to art_lust. This channel isn't defunct. That's why I'm here. No, they said that I violated some terms, and I appealed, and then they demonetized me. Thank you, Courtney. I feel like that name isn't super common. I used to work with the Courtney. I like it. Yeah, so I'm not here anymore. I mean, I am here, but I'm leaving. I'm art_lust. Go over there. Find me. Make it so it's not so lonely over there. I will say, if you find me now, you're getting a reply video. People are I'm just replying to videos because I actually can see comments, which I don't usually do. Thank you. I know. For here, it's been like just mostly hecklers. So I had like a lot of, a lot of my reply videos I feel like are like, but like now I'm like, you want to know that topic? I did 2 about cubism. I did 3 about futurism today. I know. I had never had an infraction, and I had a video that included, like, I was talking about, like, it was after the inauguration, and I appealed it, and they demonetized the whole channel. But I do feel like I work in digital. Yeah, I work in digital, so I do feel like I have a plan. Thank you, JB. I did do one. Somebody was like, she's back. I did one where like somebody's like, well, why can't it be cultural? Why does it have to be cultural appropriation? And I replied, I was like, this video literally said it's not. Oh, yeah, I don't think there's a lot. I knew a Courtney growing up, and I worked with a Courtney. Well, thank you, William. And it is art_lust, the new one. That's where I will be. And I'm going to be here a lot doing lives, and on that one doing lives so people can find me. It has been a busy week, though. I had 207,000 on Sunday here. It happened on Monday. On Monday morning here. And then now, and I had 248 on my backup. And now I have 5,000 on my backup. So, it's not bad for a week. The views haven't quite gone that way, but it'll take a minute, but I'll be there. It's not my day job, so that's good. I mean, I did feel a little bit like, do I want to keep doing this? I do, so. This is a funny mix. I don't know where this came from. Oh, I know. Somebody else told me that. Thank you for reminding me again. Who said that in that meeting? That Roots, I love him. I like talking about art. I really love talking about art. That's why I do it. It's like a hobby. It really is a hobby. I have a day job. But I was like on live right before my day job. I had a meeting, and my live screen was on, which was really embarrassing today. Thank you, Mew. I am not here anymore. This has become my backup account. My new account is art_lust. I'm moving. I should have like a sign here. I should wear like a sandwich board. Come to my new account. Thank you. Thank you. Yep. So I'm going over there. I got my first 100 videos posted there. So it's got 100 shorts, my 100 most popular shorts from here. And then I'm going to do every day, like one of my old series. I'm going to put it back. I know. It was from a workshop that I taught about cutting felt. One of the things I think felt cutting is a lot harder than people think. They drag the blade, which frays it. And so I did a workshop on cutting letters and things from felt years ago. Obviously, during the couple elections ago. It was topical. I always forget it's back there. I'm so used to looking at it. This is like, what was life like? It's funny to think of like music and how it impacted people's lives, but like how it also reflected times. I'm not a music like theorist, so I don't know anything about music. Thank you, Bubble. I think so. I think like, I don't know. I actually don't know if it's suppression so much as having worked in tech my whole career, and most of it was in like front-facing digital, social, a lot of it. I actually don't think it is. I think what actually it is like, so my content isn't, there's a lot of things that are really easy to see, like this is bad and this is good, right? There's like a lot of like pro like what violence, things like that, and then there's things that are like no violence. That's really easy for an algorithm to like figure out. And then things that are asking you to like think yourself. So I don't say like, I didn't go out and say like this is a bad idea. If it takes any kind of nuance, and like I have a kind of tone of voice, like I can see that they could say like it's like gray enough that they could just ding me. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like, I definitely think there are things in the world that are about suppression. I don't think this so much is. I think it's more that when you're in these giant systems, if a machine decides, and even if they have like people who are checking it, they're always going to err on the side of striking it, right? Because they can't like have it come back to them. So I guess like for me, I don't feel particularly suppressed so much as I know that algorithms work like this, and like it happens. And like I said, I work in digital, and so like I have a plan. Like it's a real bummer. It is not my day job. I have a day job. I work early hours, so I'm done. Like I work like usually 7 to something. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think that's very true. Like I don't think this. Yes, I think that's true for sure. But I also think like, because like I know people on TikTok who got like, and this is what I said, like, but I didn't even get to put in my appeal, and they're like, yeah, but it's closed. so we can't reopen it. And I was like, ugh. So like, you know, I mean, like, I think that there's definitely a lot. We have to be a lot more careful. Sprite, I'm definitely artless on underscore. You have to put in the at. People said if you put in the at, you can find it. Here, let me put up a link. Hold on. Give me a sec. Here. Try that link. Oh, that's a good idea. Here, let me pin it. There. Message pin. But what were we talking about? I can't remember. I've forgotten. But I think like, but that's a great idea. Next time when I do this, I'm gonna keep doing these until people find me. Oh, censorship. Yeah, I think like one of the things I was talking to somebody today in like, I used to be on a Discord server for museum pros because I was a museum pro for a really, really long time. And I was saying that one thing that's very hard is that in times like this, your plant, you want to like scream. And having been, I was like a staff at a museum in a fairly conservative place in the first time, and you just can't do that. It's just not feasible. I know. I had started one, and then I should have like kept going with it. Maybe I should go back to it. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. That's a good idea. Maybe I'll make a video here about that. I have to figure out how to do that, but I will. That's a good idea. This poor man, he had such a hard life. Oh, thank you, Kikamo. I do. Thank you, Nana. I do. I'm not. I mean, like, it's not like my favorite thing to do to rebuild the channel, but I don't. One, it is not my job, and it's like my hobby. Okay, Anthony. I will figure that out. I started one and then I never did anything with it, so I'll figure that out. It's true. It's true. Oh, cool. Maybe I will. I'll look into it. I think that one thing that is, and that's what I think is hard about like living in a society like ours, because certain things I think are so different. Like I always think about like the dancing illness, you know, like that, like, you know, that it might have been hysteria. And I don't think it actually, most research now says it's not ergot, but like hysteria has made us do crazy things in our society. Oh, fun. Hello, and Kaitun, I'm not here anymore. I'm in a new channel. It's pinned. My real channel is now pinned. Come find me at my real channel, everybody. Where are you, Kaitun, in Canada? Yeah, and I think that there's so many moments in history. Like I was thinking about doing a video about the about peasant revolts, because there's a number. Oh, my best friend's family was from. So I lived in a city that used to have a Canadian consulate. So my best friend is Canadian. Her family was from Winnipeg. I like Winnipeg, though it is very flat. It's beautiful though, the plains. I definitely have done a Hana Hawk video, but I think I did it on TikTok. Somebody else just asked me about that today. Maybe it's because I never do lives and everyone's talking. I don't know, but yeah, somebody else asked me about that. I've definitely done a Hannah Hop video, but I think it was on TikTok. But it is on my list now for here. I know it's so interesting. Winnipeg. I think it's so fat. It's like, and it's funny because so I'm in the Great Lakes, and so she grew up in the Great Lakes, but her parents were from Winnipeg, and they were like, you don't understand the beauty of flat because the Great Lakes are like hilly. I'm not so much on TikTok either. I wanted to hit my goal. My goal was to get, when I started TikTok, to get 25 million likes. So I just hit it with my Kendrick Lamar video, and now I'm done. I put stuff on there. I still use the app to record, but I don't care anymore. I'm done. After they like got rid of us, I was like, dude, I'm out. I don't know what's gonna happen with TikTok. JD Vance is supposed to save it. Lord knows. I always think about Winnipeg, what it must have been like with like the grasses. It does not make me. I mean, I haven't spent that much time there. I don't know, but I think the plains. I have spent time in the plains and in Winnipeg. I think it's beautiful. It's like endless. There's something really beautiful about it. It's like minimalist art. Like it's just sort of like the horizon line. Like there's something really amazing about it. It's just different. I think that's like what I've realized as somebody who like, I've traveled a lot. There's so many different kinds of beauty. And I think that for me, what's interesting is there's like your home beauty that you're used to in your like childhood or whatever you saw, and then the beauties you like pick up later. Right? Like I wouldn't say like I'm a desert person. You know how some people like just the desert speaks to them? But I can see that it's beautiful. But then I will say that like I see an ocean and that does feel beautiful. Like I can feel it. And I wasn't raised on an ocean. The thing for me, I think that I have a hard time with is places is cities that don't have a body of water. I've always lived near a body of water, so I always feel a little bit like which way is which? When it's like, well, I mean, like a lot of the plains, frankly. But I'm like, oh, where's the water? Oh, really? Wow, a castle in Arizona. There's a lot of really interesting architecture in Arizona. There, like, I was giving a talk once for a museum conference in Arizona, and there was all these historic house museums, and I was like, "What is happening in Arizona?" Just a lot of really cool buildings out there. Ooh, Ecotune. That sounds cool. And I will say the Great Lakes. I mean, you're close enough to Lake Superior. Lake Superior is like insane. It's an ocean. Thank you, Apollo. I've left this channel. I no longer am here. There's a link to go to my real channel now. This one got demonetized. Oh, the time is also now. I'm going to look. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to look it up. Oh, that show is great. That is a great show. I had one video that apparently was a content violation. I tried to appeal, but it didn't give me a place to put a letter, and then boom. No more monetization ever. Yeah, it was at the National Gallery before that. It was an extraordinary show. There's some really, I love, I've worked really hard to say their name. Njideka Crosby is one of my favorite artists. And the Titus Kofar that's in there is really great too. Yeah, it's at Yeah, there's some great works in there, but the Titus that's in there is really good, and there's an Amy Sherald that's in there that's really good too, right? I also love the work of Toyin Odutola, but I don't think I love the one that's in there. Thank you, Nick. I can't remember which one is in there. I've seen the checklist. It was an expensive show. It's a big deal show. Thank you, Mar. Well, this channel doesn't challenge anybody to do anything anymore, but my new channel does. I know, that's where I'm like, okay. It was sort of like a startling thing because I'd never had any strikes on videos. So it was like one strike and I'm out. I know, somebody actually asked me if I'd do a video about people. And I have to see if I will. Somebody also wants me to do one about the new White Lotus, which I haven't seen yet. Electricity so fine, look to dry your eyes. I can't do The Brutalist. I just don't think I can watch it. I know. Somebody else asked me to do The Brutalist, and I was like, oh my god, I just don't think so. I love Barbara Walker. I want to look back to see which ones are in there. I think Barbara Walker is really extraordinary. I don't think I can do The Brutalist. Oh, maybe, yeah. Maybe it was you. I know. And like, I love Marcel Breuer. I worked in a Marcel Breuer building. I, in fact, have Breuer chairs from that building in my house that they like gifted us when they were doing the renovation. I truly love Marcel Breuer, and I love brutalism. And I also understand the problems with brutalism. I worked in like knockoff brutalist buildings. I like have a long history with that, but he is not the brutalist. And the movie from my read is like terrible. And I just don't think I can do that. Oh no. I'm glad to have all the engagement, Audrey. But I'm not tolerant. I'm like, I think like I have become much more of a blocker though. Like I have I think I don't have like other people who get like lots of weirdo DM men, but I do get some, and I'm like, what are you doing? Why the hell would you do that? like you know, and I just block them now. I used to just let them go, like let them be in their own world and like whatever they were thinking. But now I'm like, ew, gross. I don't put up with that shit. It just feels like, why are you doing that? I would never in a million. I wouldn't even DM. I don't even like DM people I'm not mutuals with. I would never. I know there are so many creepies. What is your story? Like, what are you doing? Sometimes I'll reply for education purposes to somebody else, but I like block them immediately after. Oh, thank you, Apollo. It is hard, right? Like, I think that the thing that's really hard about art is it's been part of our existence for so long. But in the last, I would say, like 60 years, we have really taken it out of like accessibility. Ah, Abby, I did that once. Oh, Abby, thank you. So I have taught. I used to work at a museum where we would do AP Art History prep in the summers for students to get ready for taking the course, really. So I worked with a lot, and then we would do special tours for any student taking it in the area. So I used to work a lot, and then I taught obviously 101 and stuff for college students. That's great. I love AP Art History. I will say my own daughters who are in high school would never take it. They were like, we've lived it, Mom. We've lived it. And I took it as a student. So that's why I was really, I think it's like so useful for students before they go into college to know if they want to do it. Because, it's a real commitment. The other reason I really liked doing, I think one of the things, my AP art history teacher, who's a great person, and I like literally still see him, I think he did a lot of, and I am good at slide ID, but I don't think he always did a great job of scaffolding. And so when I would teach, I always tried to do a lot more scaffolding. Because like, I think until I think I was well into my art history degree before I really understood like all the things that were happening in the world in the 1500s. Like if you think about like Ivan the Terrible doing what he's doing while they're finishing the Lost Judgment in the Sistine Chapel, like that changes the way you think of Ivan the Terrible. Advanced placement. It's like high school level. The thing that's also hard, I think, about art history is a lot of people like, a lot of our students, like when we'd work with that I think a lot of people come into art history thinking it'll be easy because the pictures are pretty. Oh, that's so fun. So they think art history will be easy. Like one of my cousins took art history as her elective when she was in college, and she took it because she thought it was easy. And then I like had to basically help her week in, week out, because the problem with art history is it's a lot of reading. Thank you, Arthur. Their videos are no longer here. I'm on this live to tell you the link up there is where you have to go. This channel is now defunct. Aw, Juicy, that's so nice to hear. Yep, this channel got demonetized, so I'm at a new place. That's why I'm going to be doing these lives, so people can find me over there. But I think the thing that's hard about art history is that it is art plus history. So you have to read all of this history. Like you have to read I would be reading hundreds of pages a week. Plus you have to do all the slide ID. So you have to be able to do like visual thinking and textual thinking simultaneously. And so people think it's easy. Yeah. So I originally wanted to be a medical illustrator, and then I ended up like being like, oh, I don't want to do that. So I have a general art history degree, but yes, undergrad and grad. Yeah, exactly, Abby. It's like everything ever. I mean, literally, I was just somewhere. I was just thinking about like, because I was saying something. We were driving, or I don't know what I was saying. I was like, oh, that looks like the ziggurat of Ur. My husband is an artist, and he was like, yeah, it does kind of. And I was thinking, okay, so we're like describing things as like ancient architecture. Sure. Like, yeah, and it is like, it's not, and it's also everything that ever could be made. Right? If you're doing a really good study of the ziggurat of Ur, you might be looking at contemporary architecture. Because the thing I was looking at was a building that's in China that was built like in the 80s. So that's not contemporary anymore, but still, you know? So I think the vastness is what makes it really hard. I do know some, I'm going to have to think about it. I definitely know some people who are doing paper clay. You know who I actually think has used paper clay is Nicole Eisenman. I saw them live in the day. I think it's a lot. Oh yeah, Marion Walker. I think Marion Walker does. I'm pretty sure Nicole Eisenman has done it in some of the installations. I mean, I'll have to look. I know that there are others. It's become kind of a thing. Yeah. They're not one of my faves, actually. Depeche Mode was definitely more of a fave, but I did see them. I know, me too, Audrey. I have. Somebody, not an expert, somebody was doing a paper about it. I don't know who I saw that had that. I know, just Depeche Mode's the best. I'm gonna have to look up who it was. I have to see. I was talking about this. You know, it's hard because I will say that I can't imagine there's any. I love Echo and the Money Band. I was in middle school when I saw The Cure. I don't actually watch Hank Green. Not for any reason. I just don't. I don't actually follow that many dudes. Yeah, there's a lot of jewelry artists who are doing paperclay for sure. But there's also a lot of fine artists. I've noticed it more and more. Not like as the primary, but like around. I'm not quite old enough to have seen Echo and the Bunnymen live. And even when I saw Depeche Mode and Cure, they were like, it was later. You know, it was like, and I was in middle school. So it was like, you know what I mean? But for me, about like, I don't think, you know, I was talking about Aphantasia with some friends who are all like artists. Like a lot of my like friends in real life have been in the arts or, you know, like have some sort of thing. I also don't know that many people who have it, right? Because like if you're in the arts, I think that would be really hard. I don't think I've ever met anybody in the arts who has it. Though I guess like how would you know? I don't know, but I feel like you would know. Oh, that's fascinating. What did they say, Apollo? I've talked to game designers about this. I used to run a game arcade for museums. And so I've talked to a lot of game arcade designers about that and also like open world games. I do not have a favorite all time artwork or a least favorite. And if you're new to this conversation, remember, this is my fake channel. This has been demonetized. My link is my real channel. I used to joke when I was in when I first worked in museums. I was also in graduate school full time, so I was working full time in graduate school full time, and I wrote an assignment about the work that I would let burn in the museum. And it was just a terrible work. We used to call it the Retching Madonna. It's not a known artist. But even then, the reason I hated it was because we paid too much for it. It was like a kind of like a it was like a mess. Like there was like a political thing that was part of it. And I think that's for me why I also don't have a favorite or a least favorite piece of art, because oftentimes I know I have lots of thoughts about the Philadelphia Museum of Art. But okay, thank you, Isaac. I think that I have a lot of thoughts about it, but the things I can say are that I think that the thing that's very hard for institutions of the scale of like Philadelphia, Cleveland, Art Institute Chicago, is that the world is changing quite a lot from when they were founded. And I think that one of the greatest challenges of our civic organizations is responding to change. One of the things museums are the worst at is responding to change. The one about fascist memes. No more fascist memes. Don't learn how to find your fascist memes. Talk to you later. No more fascist memes. So I think that so like the things that he's a great guy too. Rafiq Anadol is literally the only human being I've ever met. I gave a panel with him. He's literally the only human being I've met who talks faster than me. I have never, ever been on a panel with a person who talks faster than me. He is the like I don't even know. And it's like English is like his third language. Like he is like next level. I sat down for him before the panel for lunch and I was like, this man, I was like, I don't even know what we're talking about. I don't usually feel like I don't have like imposter syndrome or anything. I don't feel like I have that, but he is just next level. He's really nice. Like, which is sort of weird in the art world. He's kind of like a nice nerd. But I think about Philadelphia. There's like a lot of the staff who've worked there. I've like know them. Like you know, like museums are really small. I think there's some great people there. They've got a great collection. But Their board will always hold them. Like a lot of museums, boards hold them back. I know. And like, I understand that about Philadelphia. There's a lot of, and the reinstallation, everything. There's a lot. I think the other thing about Philadelphia that's very, very hard is Philadelphia is a city. I was talking to somebody about Detroit, and I think this is true too. A lot of our older cities have waves of communities that are in there. And the problem often is that the old money communities still pull a lot of strings, even if they don't live right there. And so the people from like the suburbs, from like the main line, are making decisions without really being the people, and so like, and that's true in jinx, but that's true in that's actually true in Cleveland. That's true in the Detroit Institute of Art. That's true at the Art Institute of Chicago. Like a lot of that is coming from like, Oak Park, Evanston, Lincoln Park, or in Chicago, Detroit, and Cleveland, it's actually coming from like New York or Boston, right? Because the families have moved. And see you later, Chris. And so I think that what's happening is a lot of these institutions are really stuck like 75 years ago. And I think about like when I was a little girl, my godmother would have been, what year is this? 2025? My godmother would have been 101 this year. And so when I was a little girl and she'd take me to the museum, she remembered the Depression. Yeah, I know this very well about Detroit because I used to partner with the Detroit Institute of Art. But like my godmother remembered the Depression. And so like when we'd go to the Cleveland Museum of Art, she'd talk about how during the Depression, they stayed open because people were so depressed. But we were talking about this like when I was a kid, like in the 90s, right? And in the 90s, there wasn't as many people in the neighborhood right next to the museum because that place had been redeveloped and it's now like a big hospital system, right? So there's not that many people there. So like, it's those kinds of things that make it really hard to, because you have that lag. Right. I mean, I think like one of the things that I find so fascinating is I think that I never understood how to teach people until I stopped working in museums. I really didn't understand our audience until I left. Because it's also, I think there's like a real cult mentality to being a museum professional. Like museum professionals, I know that it's like the salary range isn't great, but the oh yeah. There was that article that Zach Small wrote at the Met about the Met, but about like all the big institutions. They've absolutely been depopulated. I mean, I have to tell you, one of the biggest things that happened in museums during COVID is that all of the digital teams, I was on a digital team at the time, basically saved all the funding for museums because all funding for museums is based on your attendance. So you can use any math you want, but at the end, they say how many people saw this artwork. So it is always attendance based. And so when that disappeared, we like basically almost every museum quickly negotiated to have like digital, and so we had to do bazillions of digital. And if you still go like to the Akron Art Museum's you'll see my face on it. I think they still have my videos. Maybe they took them down. It's been years now. But then because they're old school donors, they wanted everyone to come back. So like, especially if you were in a red area, not so much the blue city museums, but the like any red place museum, they immediately they like stopped mass. They wanted everyone to go back to normal because they needed those attendance numbers for the money. But people didn't come back. I don't think so, Erie. And Erie, if you're new here, this is my old channel. Got to go to the link to find my new channel. I think the thing that's very hard about art education is that you have to teach at the level they're at and you have to scaffold it. And I think that the problem is there are so many discontinuations. Like I just said this earlier, like I think it's really fascinating that Ivan the Terrible was doing what he was doing when the Sistine Chapel was being painted. But I think at the younger level, you have to know what a chapel is. You have to know what Russia is. And so, hey, O'Shea, you have to know those things. And so I think it's very hard to do. I've tried to do it. Sorry, I'm still manning the fort at work. Hello, Lencho. You're new here, and this place is shutting down. My new account is in the link, the pinned link. This is a dead account because I got demonetized. Duke Dog, I think that one thing is that I wish that we made art education not a separate thing. Right? Like, this is art education. I think, like, a lot of things that people do on TikTok is actually art education. And I think setting it apart really makes it, like, a problem. I don't think it necessarily, like, so I think that's a real challenge. I also think that the thing that happens in art education is people do a lot of, like, fun art things, and then they stop usually right around the time of, like, a child is anywhere between 9 and 11. And that's the time we shouldn't stop. Because that's when they decide to get nervous. Thank you, Bitmap. And Bitmap, I am not at this channel anymore. No more shorts here. They're at the pin channel. I got demonetized here. Oh, that's a great question. I don't know. You should paint, Lencho, by the way. I don't know. I haven't really, so I know people who have been in the Chicago art scene. I heard that the Chicago art scene has been like was really strong and then has like devolved a little, but I have heard it's good. I think it would hurt. I think it would hurt it. The problem with art is that it's a really, well, first of all, I think that I don't know that I think that I love the idea that everyone should be able to like use their hands and learn a lot of manual things, but for a lot of people that's hard, and I think that forcing them to make will really make them hate it. But I think that art education everyone needs is visual literacy because we are bombarded with visuals. All right, I have 10 more minutes here. Yeah, I think Steam, you know what? I know. I think that's what I think about it. That there's a lot of drama, and I think the other thing about making art is that because it makes so many people feel bad, it really separates people. Thank you. I was an art lecturer, not anymore. I worked at museums, and I taught a lot of grades, a lot of levels, high school, college, and grad. I do think ethics is an important part. We definitely used ethics, talked about ethics. Yeah, I mean, I think that, one thing I find so fascinating though about the art world is until I got online, like the things that museums think are important and the public could not be more different. Like, I think it's so interesting that everyone loves I don't know, like Sun and Peng. I just have to look at the name of the artwork. It can't help myself. It's like all over the internet. People are always talking about it. Like nobody cares. I mean, they don't not care, but it's like not. I don't know. I don't think it's like one that people talk about. Like it's like whatever. Or there's somebody else. There's a couple of other artworks here that is all. I see it all the time. Everyone is like, it changed my life, and I was like, really? Yeah, the robot. Hey Ray. Um, it's called Can't Help Myself. I can put up a video later on my new channel. I have an old one about it somewhere. I can put up a video. But I find it so fascinating because like it's not that it's not like I know the work, but I can't believe that's the one, you know? I know. I think that that's part of it. Like they want to say that, but so like that's one that I'm like, but like Jordan Wolfson, he's such a big deal. Like people are always talking about him online, and I'm like, Jordan Wolfson, really? Okay. I don't know. It's just not like I don't know. It's just like funny that to me, like, and there's other works that I see sometimes, and I'm like, this is the one. Okay. I think the other thing about the reason that happens is what actually happens is it's something that actually is just about taste. So if you're familiar with something, you feel connected to it, and the art world is also always about newness. And so what actually happens, the misstep is also because like that's like the Mona Lisa, that's like I'm trying to think of other ones that are kind of like maybe like Grant Wood, American Gothic, or like Wyeth, Christina's World. Oh, I love what's her name? I can. It's so close. Hold on. Merritt Oppenheim. But for the art world, the thing you want to see is the next amazing thing. So you don't. So in the art world, you always want newness, and I think in people's personalities, they want something that feels familiar. And so I think that's also why you see this sort of misstep. I also think in the real world, people like things that are weird, and in the art world, they like things that are cerebral. So that's like another misstep. Hello. All right. I gotta go get ready to go out tonight. I'm gonna make a few more videos. I'll make that Sun and Peng one on my new channel. Anybody who's here, this is the demonetized channel. Uncanny Valley's already come and gone. I honestly think we're moving into, we've already just done realism and then Uncanny Valley. And I think what we're going to go into is like a very sort of very high key moment. And then we're going to go back to a very low key moment. I know, Ray, I've been working on it. I went to your stuff. I wanted to do a good job because you've always been a loyal follower. All right. I got to go get ready. I was just looking at somebody. I can kind of think of, I'll look. I was just looking at somebody who was a James Cohen. I can't remember who it was. But if you start looking, it's like I just did a video today about different kinds of futurism, and I did something called cocaine futurism. Sometimes it's called. It's like 80s futurism, late 70s, early 80s futurism. That's what I mean by high key. I will be over there. I know, I do too. Good night, everyone.